In the last episode, I had decided to stay in the place that I found and began to set up for winter the best I could. I realized the deerskins that I had made for coveralls was not going to be warm enough for the coldest part of winter. I still had my jacket and blankets, but they were not made for sub-zero weather. I needed to find and kill a bear for the skin and fat. It would be cold enough to freeze at night, so it would keep for a long time. I could make jerky out of it until it started to hard freeze. It was getting late in the season, and they would be looking for a place to hibernate soon. I had seen a few deer around and hunted them and packed the meat. I did have plenty of food to last for the winter, but I was not prepared for really cold weather. So I took some ammunition for the rifle and set out to find a deer to kill and let rot in a place where I could hide and cover my scent. A hungry bear can smell the meat rotting a long ways away and will find it and come back again to check for more. I set out the meat there where it could be found and left for the campsite. With any luck, a big grizzly will eat it, and the next time he smells more meat, he won't be expecting me to be there waiting for him. I waited for 2 days and went back without my pack horse. I only took some jerky, berries, and some water and hiked back to the spot. Sure enough, the meat was gone, and tracks of a large one were all around. I found the paw prints in the dirt where he was leaving the area and placed more meat down to be found by him. I set a blind where I had a clear view of the meat. I didn't want him to have any other smells but the meat in the air, so I covered myself with dirt and settled in for the wait. I knew I would only get 1 or 2 shots before he would come at me or run. It had better be a good aim to the head right between the eyes, or a shot an inch below his ear from the side. I laid on my belly for what seemed like hours, only moving enough to let the blood flow to my arms and legs. I knew it had to be late afternoon as the shadows were getting longer. I munched on jerky and ate some berries to take away the hunger. I decided it may be a while before the bear comes back. I laid there for another hour, and then I heard a rustling in the brush and then a loud snap. I really couldn't tell where the sound was coming from. All of a sudden, I was scared. What if he came up behind me? I hadn't thought of that. I got that same feeling again that someone was there, but not the bear. The brave appeared and was crouching beside me. He was nodding his head and pointing towards the sound I was hearing. Then there he was, just standing looking at the meat. He stood up on his hind legs, and I could tell he was smelling the air. What if he could smell me? I was too scared to breathe. The biggest grizz I had ever seen had took the bait. He started towards the meat, and I took aim. I was shaking a little with fright. I waited for the best shot I could. The grizzly was holding down the meat with one huge paw and tearing it with the other. But he turned a little away from me, and I didn't have a good shot to the head. The brave picked up a twig and tossed it toward him, and the bear stopped and looked in my direction. I slowly squeezed the trigger. The brave put his hand on the back of my shoulder as if to steady me. Finally, the rifle cracked off a shot and jolted me clear down to my ankles. The bear staggered and started to fall over, so I rebolted and fired again a shot to his throat. Down he went, down with a thud, and was not breathing. The brave let out a blood-curdling yell and was jumping up and down and started to dance all around and laughing. All the while he was whooping and hollering, I just lay there watching him, mesmerized by his actions. He motioned me to come and dance, so I did. It seemed strange to be dancing and hollering with him. He kept poking me in the chest and then raised his arms to the sky and yelled. Finally, we both stopped, and I went over to the bear and cut off one of his ears and gave it to the brave. He just stood there smiling at me. He stared deep into my eyes as if he could see right through me. He said something in his language and turned and faded away. I knew I didn't have much time to skin the bear and take what meat I could. I tried desperately to drag the carcass as far away and away from the sight, but he must have weighed 400 pounds. I quickly ran out of strength. I started back to the camp to get pack horses at a run. When I had returned, the bear had not been disturbed, so I skinned him as quickly as I could and took what meat I could put on the horse. It was going to be a long winter, but at least now I had something to help keep me warm and my belly full. I went to sleep that night with a full belly and completely satisfied and content. I dreamed of the day with full sunshine and swimming in the pond at my uncle's farm, my cousins laughing and joking and pushing each other in the water and swinging on the ropes.